Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Who Would Win. And in this week's Who Would Win, this one comes to us by, and I can't make this name up, Google-Eyed Chihuahua. Yep, that is an actual person's YouTube handle. So Google-Eyed Chihuahua, so this is one of the more basic ones, but I've written down Danny Phantom already, and Jake Long wasn't that hard to find information on. So yeah, it's Jake Long versus Danny Phantom, and just double checking on that. Yes, it is. So, with Danny Phantom, I've done two who would win battles with him. No, I should have done three. I've done Danny versus Ben, Danny versus Pac-Man, Danny versus Kim. So this is my fourth one. Yeah, but he's an interesting character. He's fun to do battles with, these versus battles with. So with Danny, I've gone over him three different times, but just to recap, because I always should, Danny Phantom is a 14, 16. We'll go with 16 normally by the end of this normal first series. Supposedly they might be making a sequel series, which I would be down for. But by the end of the first series, he's about roughly 16. Now he's half human, half ghost. He can stay human, but he can turn into his ghost form, which gives him white hair and hand strength. His strength is varying, but roughly speaking, he can lift a couple tons in his ghost form. Um, he's fast enough to move at least a minimum of 112 miles an hour. By the end of the series, he's probably a lot faster than that. A little conservative say 200 miles an hour. And of course, all these standard go. He's very durable. He's able to take a lot of damage. And of course he's got all his ecto powers. He's got intangibility, flight, overshadowing, his ghost sense, which turns out to be cryokinesis. He can generate ice. He's got duplication ability, but that tires him out. He's got any ecto shields, ecto blasts. He can do super blasts, which a giant ball of energy. Which generally speaking, when you actually look at the amount of ecto energy or about what ecto blasts, how powerful they usually are, if you actually look at all the ghosts in the Danny Phantom series, like maybe one in like one of those random videos, like I did with the Bleach Captains, rank the Danny Phantom ghosts from in a power scale. But if you actually look at them, only like the most supreme, like the really high end ghosts can really wreck any severe amount of damage on a wide scale. Like no ghost, not even like Pariah Dark, I believe was the name in the like rain ghost rain, or I can't remember exactly what it was. Basically that the ghost king, whatever he was called, Pariah Dark, I think was his name. Like not even him or even like Dan Phantom, the like the ultimate enemy Danny, are strong enough to really affect anything globally. Or I think Pariah Dark could have. He was able to affect a town. He was able to affect things on a town level. I can't remember the movie exactly. I'd have to like, actually look back into it. But he's strong enough to like affect like an area of like a significant portion of like a town or a whole town, or possibly it could spread more. But there's really no ghost that's like a true global level threat usually, with the exception of like I can't remember, Vortex was the name, the weather ghost. With the exception of him, because he could like alienate control. It all comes down to what their base or what their actual power structure actually is, what their power details, and what they can do. But off on that tangent, again, that's a different video for a different time. In fact, thinking on it, I've had a lot of ideas for videos, but I already do enough videos on the channel as it is, so save those for a different day. Like doing just like when I feel like just doing a random video. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe just once a week I'll do a random video. Maybe it'll be a who would win or something. Maybe it'll be a what if. Maybe it'll just be a video I talk about. Maybe I'll start doing that. But anyway, um, but yeah, Danny can still fire a pretty powerful ecto blast. They can destroy rubble, maybe even break a car or something like that. Nothing huge or amazing, but they're pretty strong. Again, the cryokinesis can control ice. One of his one thing that's signature to just him is his sonic wail, which can fry out electronics, can blow enemies back, can probably blow out an eardrum if you're at like point blank range. Can basically shake the earth. It's that powerful. But still, Danny's nowhere near indestructible, unbeatable, anything like that. He's been beaten plenty of times, even in his later career. So he's Danny Phantom. Now, Jake Long, on the other hand, Jake Long's an interesting guy. Jake Long, personality-wise, he's a nice guy, caring, loyal, resourceful, respectful, but he's also clumsy, a bit lazy, rambunctious, overconfident. Um, he can make clones of himself, which is interesting due to dragon magic. I believe that's what that. Yeah, he can make clones of duplicates of himself, basically, but it's like limited to the amount he can do, and he can only do so many. He's got his dragon form, which pretty much in human form he's not really capable of a great deal, but in dragon form he's got the abilities of a dragon. He's got fire breathing, which it's fire breathing. He can reduce individuals to ash in some circumstances. He's got enhanced strength. He can lift a couple dozen ton, or not a couple dozen tons. He can lift at least a ton, I assume, in dragon form, from what I can see. He's got super senses, height and durability because he is a dragon, flight, all those good things. So he's not his abilities aren't really yeah, sorry, there's a movie on I haven't seen in a long time. Hercules with Dwayne Johnson. No, he's a perfectly capable fighter. He's a kind of just a brawler in terms of his fighting style. Danny's also a bit of a brawler, but he's had enough fighting experience to have some form to it. So yeah, how would the fight break down? I think the fight would break down, honestly, how a fight between any of, well, not like with Pac-Man, but any of these Danny Phantom fights would break down between either like Kim Possible or Ben 10, where they're on a mission in some way, shape, or form, come to Amityville, and they come to blows. Now, because of Jake Long's personality and attitude, he'd probably be a lot more joking and cocky, where Danny would be a lot more says, dude, get out of here, you're cramping my style, man. It's like, come on, man. And they would joke, and then it's like, look, I don't want to make you leave, but I will if I have to. It's like, is that a threat, buddy? Because I think I can take it. It's like, yeah, you do know I am half ghost, right? Just holds up an energy ball, just it's like, yeah, that's like this much. I mean, he probably exaggerated. It's like this much, man. You don't want to mess with this if you don't have to, right? And all of a sudden, he's like, is that a fact? He gets a grin, all of a sudden turns into a dragon form, and now Dave's like, well, it's like, huh? It's like, huh? Didn't quite see that coming. It's like, what do you got to say about that? It's like, you're not really the biggest dragon I've seen. It's like, huh? It's like, yeah, dude, I've fought dragons before. I fought dragons, like, Jake's actually really not that big for a dragon either. I've fought dragons at least 10 times your size, which he has. So it's like, and he's beaten those dragons too, with help, but he's still beaten them. He's fought on par with those dragons, let's be clear. So, yeah, so the fight's gonna be, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, you underestimate me? Well, try this. Just fire breathes, and Dan just, it's like, Forrest feels like, yeah, you're not like the first guy to throw fire at me, buddy. It's like, so, and then just like starts pinging energy blasts from his ghost shield, just beep 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 beep. Boom boom do. Maybe Danny's even just joking. It's like beep 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 beep. It's like, you actually say that out loud? It's like you actually say that out loud in my head all the time. So now Jake gets called, like, ow. It's like, what the heck? What the heck? All right, buddy. Just rushes in, goes towards Dan, goes to tell him, whoa, shunk. It's like, what? It's like, what is it? You missed. Gets slacked by Jake's tail. Just, gets that classic animation style embedded in the wall. Just, ow. It's like, okay, that was my bad. It's like, yeah, it was your bad. It's like, all right, let's dance, buddy. And then they'd go to a fist fight. Danny's throwing some punches, Jake's throwing some punches. They both, just that kind of stuff. I do think that overall, in terms of like physical lifting strength, I think Danny's the stronger of them. But in terms of like an actual physical, like throwing a punch strength like that, I think Jake's actually got the edge because he's a dragon. He's got like just the brawn of a dragon in him. So he just so he's just gonna clock Danny a good strong, but Danny's taken hits like that before, so Danny's just like, oh, okay, that hurts. Like, fire, breathes fire again, just all of a sudden he's noticing this fog. It's like, ice is just suddenly like, well, melted ice in there, but the fog just is like, all of a sudden Danny just freezes Jake down to the ground, or freezes an arm down to the ground, freezes the air. It's like, what is this? It's like, Yeah, I was like, do you think Energy Blast is my only trick battle? I'm half ghost. I got plenty of things to throw at you. So he just starts freezing him to the ground. Jay's like, melts the ice, comes in, just tackles Danny. Whoa! And it's like, and they're about to say, it's like, I'm gonna just smash you to the ground. It's like, yeah, no, you're not. Just it's like, yeah, good luck with that, pal. Just phases through. Jake's like, huh? Jake smashes into the ground. Just oh, just okay. Where are you? I'm over here. Or am I over here? Or am I over here? You see like 3 other Dannys there, so there's 4 altogether. And then it was like, oh yeah, I can do that too. It's like boop boop boop. It's like, oh, that's a new one. As I haven't seen a dragon do that before, so now the dragons are dragon copies and Danny copies are fighting it out. So that's happening now. In terms of like a copy on copy fight, I think Jake's probably going to be maybe a bit stronger because Danny's powers get displaced a bit from different when he's making multiple copies. So yeah, so now you have Danny on the losing side. He realizes he can't fight him like this, so he falls back. He's like, Danny's all huffing and puffing, but just okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea. It's like, it's like you got that right. How was I supposed to know you could duplicate? Fires an energy blast. One of the Jakes maybe disappears, goes back to the air Jakes. Maybe 2, 3 Jakes left. Like, but Danny still has like. It's like, you're getting tired, bro. You can't take me on. Just face it. You can't win. It's like, yeah. It's like, you'd like to believe that, wouldn't you? Lizard Boy's like, I'm a dragon. And the 3 just charge. And at that point, Jay just ghostly wails. And at this point, Jake's just like, what the heck? Because he's got hand senses. He's got the dragon. I'm sorry, I got a commercial now with Sly Stallone on. Is Sly's doing commercials now for steaks or no, for beer? For it looks like Bud Light. Okay, this was a thing. So just it's like, and then he gets fall back, and then I think he's just knocked out. And I say this because it's kind of like how I put it with Crypto versus Underdog, if you remember that video, and if you're not, you can go check that video out. Because Roar of remember in the title, he's got the roar of thunder, speed of lightning, and when you actually factor in how a roar of thunder, what it actually is capable of doing, and what you see it's capable of doing, it more or less would shatter like Crypto's eardrums. That I feel like it wouldn't be quite that significant of an effect. But it would still be something that would more or less knock him out from just his equilibrium just being completely wrecked. So it would just knock him the hell out. And I think Danny overall wins the fight in long haul because Danny can tank a lot more hits than Jake can. Jake has a very limited arsenal against Danny. He's got his fists, he's got his tail, he's got his strength, and he's got his fire breath. But all of those things are things Danny has dealt with. And on a much bigger base, again, he's fought dragons at least twice. Dragons that are far bigger than Jake are and have far more firepower than Jake does. And he's fought those dragons several times. He's also fought just giant monsters before, so fighting giant monsters is nothing new to Danny. So fighting someone like Jake wouldn't really... And Jake's, while intelligent... in some ways, is also clumsy. He is like clumsy prone, like naturally clumsy and prone to goofing up. And he's definitely on the brash side. Danny's on the brash side too, but unlike Jake, Danny has learned to become less. He's still brash. He's still a teenager, but he's become less brash the more he's fought ghosts and things along those lines. Now, I never watched actually Jake Long American Dragon, but I can guess that maybe Jake's grown up over the show as well. But Danny can just dish out more damage, and it just has more attacks and techniques to use against Jake. Like, let's just throw it out there. Danny could point blank blast Jake with a giant ectoblast. It wouldn't kill Jake. I'm certain it wouldn't. But it would probably seriously knock the wind out of him and probably give him a good solid gut punch burn to his abdomen. And maybe even knock him out if he got him in the face. He could freeze Jake solid. Now, Jake can breathe fire and melt the ice, but if he freezes Jake solid completely, I'm sure Jake will survive, but he can't necessarily breathe the fire out if he can't actually take a breath to do so. Or he can freeze him basically from the neck down, and he can't reach the ice. I'm trying to think of a few hours. Again, the ghostly whale thing is a real big trump card on Danny because that's a technique I don't think Jake really goes up against very much. And with super senses, when you're going up against Sonic type attacks, it's a very dangerous thing to be going up against, especially if you have superhero. Even Superman's extremely vulnerable to that kind of thing. So, excuse me, I'm just moving this forward. There we go. So even like someone like Superman, if Superman could be taken down by sonic vibrations like that, I'm certain that Jake can also be taken down by that. Now, the question is there a scenario where Jake wins? Yeah, sure. I can see Jake knocking Danny out with his tail or getting a good solid hit. And I honestly don't see Jake killing Danny with the fire or even really hurting him that much because he's dealt with plenty of individuals who use fire, so he knows how to deal with fire. But I do see a scenario where Jake could easily knock Danny out with a good like a hard left hook or a hard right hook. So the question is, what's the percentage that Danny wins over Jake and vice versa? I say Danny wins probably about 85% of the time. I think Danny's got the very solid majority in this fight. But I think there's like a 15% chance that Jake could get like that, just cold cock him, just boom, knock him flat out. So I think there's a strong ability or strong chance that could happen. So yeah, in the long term, I think Danny Phantom wins most of the time, but I think there's a solid argument to be made for Jake dishing out a win. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As those of you who want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win: Star Wars, superhero, what if, Magic. Anything I do in the channel, please put in the comments below. Let me know. We'll get to it at some point. I'm gonna have to avoid. I'm gonna have to hold off on Star Wars tomorrow. There's not going to be a Star Wars video tomorrow because I have work. I'm working till like 5, and I got a movie at 7. So while I could come home real quick and do a video, it's not. It's not really going to. It wouldn't make. I wouldn't have enough time to prepare the video. I guess is the best way to put it. And then tomorrow's going to be Free Fire. I'm looking forward to Free Fire, man. It's a free-for-all. Oh, that looks like it's going to just be a fun fucking time. I am going to have Magic up tomorrow. I'm actually going to do the Magic video now, and I'm going to upload it tomorrow. So that's what's going to happen for that. So thanks for watching. See you next time.